We gotta go.
Three, two, one. Nope, I messed up. Three, three, two, one. All right, we're a Shaman. This is going to be the fastest card review because we are heading into 3 a.m. and we are both dying, and you can hear us dying, and we still have stuff to do after this. So we're really, really dying. Okay, all these cards are going to go down from where it is. I don't know how much, but it's because it's Shaman, and as we've been saying this whole time, there's a small bug in the. It's my fault in the system for what do you call it, for freeze. A lot of the other stuff isn't my fault. It's just technical stuff, but this one's my fault. And so I don't know how useful these scores are. I would just like mentally take all the freeze, whatever you think is appropriate for the freeze effect, like knock it down a little from here. So we'll start with Burlock. 2 mana 2/2 Murloc, freeze an enemy. It's gonna be good. It's not a 130. It says 130 here, but that's because that's most of its value, like half of its value at least, or like decent part of its value. So it's gonna go down a lot. It's still a good card. It's gonna end up definitely more than 100, but I know we're not giving you a lot to go on here. But the way you use the card is you freeze an enemy, kind of like a glacial shard, except it's a Murloc and has 1 more health. That's a pretty vital health, so it's not gonna be as good as a glacial shard, but it'll be okay. And if you're wondering, hey, what's a glacial shard? Maybe you could just tell us that. Well, it's the same freeze effect. So that one is also not correct right now.
Yep.
Next is another freeze effect, which is Avalanche. This one actually does a bunch of stuff besides freeze, so it's mostly right. So Avalanche freezes a minion and then deals 3 damage to adjacent minions. It's a really weird card to value because to get its proper valuation, you need 3 targets, but the big effects are on the 2nd and 3rd minion, not the freeze. Like, a freeze is worth 0 mana in, like, freezing potion, right? But, like, 3 damage is worth, like, 2 mana. So, it's like a reversely weird card. It's almost like Betrayal. Like,
it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how do you use this card?
You kind of have to use it like a Betrayal. And then with Betrayal, a lot of times you're just dealing 3 damage, right? But for this one, you also have to see sort of how much you need the freeze effect.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so sometimes you just like freeze someone. It has that option, right? And you could just freeze someone and deal 3 damage to something else. Like, it's very flexible. I actually really like the card. I really like the design. It'll probably end up around like a 120, 122-ish.
Sounds good. Next, let's talk about Drakari Defender. This is an interesting one. I think it fostered a lot of debate on Reddit and on the forums as well. It is a 3 mana 2/8 with a taunt and overload 3. So in 2 turns, you're basically paying 6 mana for a 2/8 taunt. Here we have it at a 108.
Yeah, it's a little worse than a Yeti.
Yeah, it's a little bit worse than a Yeti. The stat distribution definitely does something, but man, you would really love for it to have a little bit more attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. What else? What else is
Voodoo Hexer?
Voodoo Hexer, yes.
Voodoo Hexer is a 5 mana 2/7 that taunts and frees any character damaged by this minion. So we have it at a 84 tier score. You can definitely find a use for this. And the fact that it taunts and then it freezes everything as well, great setup for a Volcano, great setup for perhaps a Lightning Storm. It just doesn't do enough at 5 mana.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay.
What's next? Okay,
right.
let's get this out of the way. Ice Fishing, draw 2 Murlocs from your deck. You're not going to have 2 Murlocs in your deck. It's bad.
Nope.
Done. Not an arena card. Oh, here's another one. Icebreaker. It's 3 mana. It's 1/3. Destroy any frozen minion damaged by this. It's actually a 63, which is not like totally unplayable, although you see it all the way on the right here in terrible because it is terrible. Our entire tier list is done. Like, every point is 1 point. So this is a 63, which means it's like literally only 60% the value of an average card. So that's pretty bad. You will get some like free synergies, right? Like, there's so much freezing stuff in Shaman in this expansion, and you're going to get a lot of what do you call it? You're going to get a lot of offerings for those freeze cards, and like Burlock and Avalanche are pretty good. Your Voodoo Hexler is draftable. Like these are things that can happen. So you may end up killing a frozen minion. Maybe it happens. But otherwise, you have a really crappy version of Blaze Justice.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Is that all the cards? Shaman has some like polarizing cards. Okay, yes. So epics.
Yeah, and also, guys, I see. Yeah, we'll talk about this afterwards. But all right, so epics, we have cryostasis. Like I said, a great design. It's 2 mana spell, give a minion +3/+3 and freeze it. Fantastic. A lot of times you'll be using it on your own minion, and you know, there will be opportunities where you use it on the opponent as well. Yep. Just because of the new weapon that that you've gained, and or sometimes you just need to go face and you need kind of a overcosted freeze, but hey, at least it freezes.
Yep.
So this is a 113 on the list, and then we also have Snow Fury Giant, which is a 67 on the tier list.
This is not value correctly on the tier list. It's still not good. It's going to be like a little bit higher, maybe into like 75, like 80 tops. And it's just, you're going to overload a number of times over the course of the game. By the time you play this, you probably overload 2 or 3. So it's like an 8 mana 8/8, maybe a 9 mana 8/8. Not the best. If you have an overload deck, though, right, this could be like a 6 mana 8/8, and then you're like, all right, it's pretty good. So it depends on your deck. It's a fine design card wise because it's a bad card that can become good in the right deck, right? That's what you want bad cards to do.
Yeah.
And finally, we have the legendary for the Shaman, which is Murabi. Murabi is bad. It is a 6 mana 4/4. Whenever another minion is frozen, which happens but not that often, add a copy of it to your hand. So like highly situational card draw. Otherwise, like super understated.
Yep.
That's it for Shaman. We will leave Shaman. Shaman's gonna be weird in this expansion. It really is.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's happening to it because I don't know how Freeze and Shaman are gonna work together. I don't know if aggro is gonna work because remember, no 2-drops, so probably not aggro. But then like, what's it doing control wise? It didn't get any large minions or like actual like big things in this entire expansion, so it's not gonna have the card advantage. Like, I don't understand what Shaman's doing in the arena right now.
Yep.
All right, on to the next one.
Let's go.
3, 2. Oops, sorry. 3.
Yeah. Wait. So 1 second. I see a lot of people